Question 7. Silicon can be made by heating silicon tetrachloride with zinc. And this is the reaction. We've got 8.50 grams of silicon tetrachloride is reacted with an excess of zinc. What that meant that all the silicon tetrachloride will react with zinc. The percentage yield of silicon is 90%. And that's the silicon yield. And the percentage of that is 90%. What is the mass of silicon made? Well, let's work out. We're given that equation. We know the ratio of the equation is 1 to 2 to 1 to 2. And that's for silicon. So silicon tetrachloride and silicon have the same ratio, which means they will have the same mole. So let's work out the mole for silicon tetrachloride. And mole N is mass over relative molecular mass. And we know the mass is 8.5 divided by the relative molecular mass of silicon tetrachloride. And from the periodic table, silicon is here as 28.1. So we got 28.1 plus chlorine is 35.5. I need to times that by 4 because there are 4 of those. So I'm doing the mole for that one. So that would be 35.5 times 4. And what will that mole be? If I get the calculator here, do the fraction key. Now do 8.5, arrow key down, 28.1 plus, open bracket, 35.5 times 4, close bracket, and press standard to decimal, 0.05. So if that's 0.05, that's the mole of silicon tetrachloride, which means the mole of silicon yield is going to be 0.05. Now, it's only 90% of that yield, not 100%. So this is the 100%. To get 90%, we need to times the mole for 90%, which means 90 over 100, and that is 0.9. So the mole then yield will be the 0.9 times the mass of 0.9 times the mole that is yield. So now the 0.05. So that would be 90%, and that equals to 0.045. So that's the mole of silicon at 90%. This is a mole of silicon at 100%. 90% means that 0.9. So you want to times that 0.9 by that to get the mole at 90%. Now you want to calculate the mass of silicon yield. We know the formula here. We know the mole of silicon. We want to calculate the mass. We know the relative molecular mass of silicon. So we can come here and do that here by saying, well, the mass of silicon yield will be equal to the mole times the relative molecular mass. But we know what the mole is. At 90% is 0.045 times the relative molecular mass of silicon. That's 28.1. Altogether, if I punch that into calculator, 0.045 times 28.1 we get 1.26. So that's 1.26 grams. So that's the mass of silicon yield at 90%. And that's A.